A lot has been said by some of the greatest musicians in the world about practice routines, and I'm not here to agree or disagree with any of them. But before you become pro or anti-routine, it's a good idea to consider how repetition functions in practice and what routines likely do and don't accomplish, so that you can eventually build a routine that does what you want it to. From the Center for Music Learning, I'm Dr. Mike Achillian, here with some thoughts on practice. A few months ago, I was working with a really great high school student in a masterclass setting. And it was kind of early in the day. So after he got his instrument out, I asked him to go ahead and warm up and get himself comfortable. And then he sort of sat down and said, okay, got to build the house. And then he proceeded to go through what, at least to me, sounded like a highly choreographed, really well-rehearsed sequence of things. He explained to me later in the day that he does that very strict routine before every one of his practice sessions. He told me that he does those same exercises in the same order at about the same tempo every day, and that he attributes a lot of his comfort and his success on the instrument to that routine. And this kid could clearly get around the horn. So it got me thinking about what's really at play when musicians of all ability levels do and teach routines. First, and kind of foundationally, in almost every case, some structure to your practice is going to be better than no structure. Addressing skills and passages in some kind of systematic way is obviously an important vehicle to notice small changes that happen moment to moment and day to day. As I've mentioned in previous videos, repetition is obviously helpful in creating and refining habits. Also, routines can be comforting. They tend to foster reliability in our musical lives, and it's hard to begrudge any musician that finds comfort and stability in a routine. They can be meditative, healing, deeply meaningful, and a positive part of a musical life. And all of that is worth celebrating. But here's the thing, strict routines likely don't lead to the most learning. See, behaviors aren't really like grooves in a record that grow a little deeper every time we do them. Doing the same exact thing over and over doesn't really work like that. When things repeat, as in nothing of substance changes from iteration to iteration, they become predictable. And when things are really predictable, we respond to them less. This is called habituation, and it's unlikely to lead to any novel responses as long as things stay really predictable. To use the student's house analogy from earlier, if every day you build the exact same house as you did yesterday, you're just building lots of the same house. You'll certainly improve how you build that one house. And by that, I mean, over time, you'll be able to build that same house by habit without really having to think consciously about how you made it happen. But to be a great contractor, you've got to know how to build lots of different houses. Or in our case, in order to be a flexible musician, you've got to expand what it is that you're good at. And that takes some change. Things that change tend to get our attention. Like when you see someone you're close with that just got a major haircut, it's the first thing you notice about them. So the idea then is to build enough change into your routine to get and keep your attention on the kinds of things that are going to keep you getting better. Specifically, really effective practicers pay a lot of attention when they make sounds that aren't intended, because those discrepancies are exactly what drive learning. In other words, they play stuff, sometimes pretty early in their practice day, that is unpredictable enough to draw their attention to what they actually need to change. With that in mind, here are 2 questions to help you think through your relationship with a routine. Number 1, how much comfort and reliability do you want in your practice? If you like the idea of reliability, there's nothing wrong with choosing more structure. Enjoy it for the meditation that it is. It's also possible in highly structured routines, although I think it's deceptively hard, to continue to refine your ability to pay really close attention to smaller and more subtle discrepancies that arise each repetition. So if a strict routine gives you comfort, enjoy it. And if you'd like to build experiences that are more conducive to change, how can you structure a routine that keeps your attention? If you'd like to try making a little more change in your first practice session of the day, which is where routines typically exist, don't aim to repeat the exact same things every day. Now, there are countless ways you can build in variability to your routines, but if you're unsure where to start, try this. Change the order of the things that you typically do. Not a lot at first, but introduce small amounts of change. Notice the differences that even small changes can bring about in how you feel and how you sound. Omit some steps in your routine. I think most professionals would probably agree with me here that it's a good idea to have like a compact routine that can get you sounding your very best in a very short period of time. Occasionally, work through your longer routine in a shorter period of time to explore how skipping steps changes how you feel and sound. Or get creative. Maybe take some time between your typical exercises to play some short melodies or something improvised or not notated, something easy, pretty. Take time to transfer the ease of sound production, the sorts of stuff that most of us focus on in routines, into stuff that requires more expression early. If you already vary your routine in some way, expand that variability and notice what happens. Where you flourish here will depend on you, your music, your intentions. But the big idea is that there are ways for you to create and refine a routine that helps you meet your personal and musical goals. Be curious and notice how even small changes to the structure of your routine can alter your feelings, your thoughts, and your skills. This can make you a happier and more effective practicer.